The immigrant crisis going on right now in the United States has a lot of people shook, in particular, the African American community, especially in big liberal based cities. I'm talking about the Atlantas, the Los Angeles, the Bostons. But there are two cities in particular that are really being hit by this: New York City and Chicago. And in Chicago, the immigrant crisis is costing the city upwards of $250 million or more. But let's go to a city right near Chicago. It's a small village called DOLTON, Illinois. And yes, it is not Mr. Brandon Johnson that's the mayor. It's this lady, Tiffany Henyard, aka the super mayor, also known as the city girl mayor. Now she kind of reminds me of a dictator like Joseph Mobutu, somebody like that from the Congo, because her pictures are plastered everywhere and she wants to be seen for doing nothing. And she has some of the best rants you've ever seen, like this.
I forget I am the leader. They want to hear from the mayor. If y'all ain't learned that yet, the mayor, not the trustees that don't do nothing, that only run their mouth. Y'all don't do no work, no work.
But anyways, she's the first African American female mayor ever in the village of Dolton, Illinois, which again is like 10 miles outside of Chicago. It's still in Cook County. And really, she's not a big immigration sort of mayor like Brandon Johnson, but she is helping immigrants in certain ways. I'm gonna tell you why. Because see, instead of just fighting for immigrants like Brandon Johnson does, the way that she does it, she's just completely corrupt. What do I mean? Well, she spends money on a new Chevy Tahoe like this.
But at the end of the day, nobody comes here to argue with you. Nobody at all. There are bills that we have the right to take off. We have the right to make decisions about. You say that you're running it at the end of the day, because this is going to be the narrative when we go broke. You're going to say, I wasn't even on the bank account. The trustees did it. When at the end of the day, you're making decisions and spending money and then get mad when we don't approve it because it's not financially sound. I sat here and looked at a lease that y'all paying $149,000 for one of them trucks. You make absolute, that's like when you 19 years old and you go get a car and the interest rate 27%. That makes absolutely no sense. You're
Please
not making
facts.
great finance, excuse me?
Please state facts.
But let me tell you, here it is, dated December 27, 2022. The cash price of a 2023 Chevy Tahoe, $93,216.71. Interest and APR, $55,929.49. Total lease price, $149,146.20. Tell me if it's not facts, because your signature is all on it.
And she doesn't pay vendors, so the police cars might be repossessed like this.
We don't have the specifics on there, but we know the finances aren't good, and that's a big concern.
Yeah. So one of the things that we want to put out in this interview is that they are threatening to repossess, repossess police vehicles because of non-payment, which Trustee House brought up at the last board meeting. So talk about that email you got.
For State Bank, which is our police vehicles, the Durats, the Durangos, and the Fiats for Public Works. That bill was approved by the board May of 2023. We received an email stating that those cars will be repossessed if we do not get any payment.
Yeah, so I received an email January 31st from the leasing company. And I will read the email that I received because it was quite concerning. Yeah, so the email sent January 31st reads as follows. I will need a response by the end of this week, a payment being made on this past due account ending in 351. The payment is seriously past due and we will be making arrangements for repossessing all of the vehicles related to this lease. Your immediate attention to this matter is greatly appreciated. So that one is a payment the board already approved in May of 2023. We're talking 7 months that this is gone at $76,000 behind. And now we're coming up on it being 2 years delinquent because we're going to, in May, another payment is going to be due. So upon getting that information, I immediately forwarded it over to the village administrator, to the finance director, and I requested for a status. I asked them to follow up with the vendor directly and to keep the board updated. It was not an attempt to have another video to put out here, but of course, when we get into the boardroom and the meetings and they try to portray it like, well, everything's okay, and it's not.
She goes on wild spending sprees and buys stupid stuff like this.
Aurelio's Pizza, $131. Best Western, apparently 2 rooms for $318. Chicago Midway Airport, $200 worth of tax dollars spent on that. Cooper's Hawk, $557.68. Got Dollar Tree on here, $108. Dunkin' Donuts, $49.58. What else we got? Where else did we eat at? Holiday Inn in Bloomington, 2, 4, 6, 7 rooms, $2,694. Image One, Italian Fiesta, $113.59. Jewel Osco, $100.50. Olive Garden, $262.78. Pete's Fresh Market, $212.97. Let's see if we ate anywhere else. Thank me later, $520. Walmart, $11.11. Good Lord. Wyndham Hotel and Resorts, 2, 4, 6, 8 rooms, totaled up to $1,085. All this, no receipts given to the myself or the other trustees that I've mentioned.
And I know what you're thinking about. Well, what does that have to do with the migrant crisis? Stick with me. Dolton, Illinois is 90% African American. It's a small village, but it's not rich. So every dollar that the city has counts. Unfortunately, the mayor is spending so much money, she won't even turn in the spending accounts to the trustee board. So we really don't know what she's spending the money on. If you don't believe me, check this out.
One comment on the financials, and I don't know how I neglected to do this. All the way until last month, we were receiving monthly financial reports. This month, we did not receive a monthly financial report the way that we traditionally would. When we talk about the deficit, last fiscal year through May, the deficit was $2.5 million in our operating account. This year through the report we got, which was September 30th, I pulled that up as you were speaking. So from May through September, there was an additional $4.2 million of deficit. So you couple those two together, the deficit is growing and it's approaching $7 million. And I will share that financial report. We have not received anything this month. And my concern, and sometimes you kind of joke your way through some of the pain because it really is painful. But we speak how in different meetings, Trustee Belcher will bring a lease or an invoice, and then the retaliation on the next month is we don't get access to the accounting system.
Again, you're probably wondering, what in the hell does this have to do with these migrants? Stick with me. Now, with the mayor being $7 million in debt in the budget and promising to give $1 million away, it's just crazy to see what's going on in that city. And now the city is so poor that their police vehicles are about to be repossessed. Now, here's the issues where the migrants come in. You see, there is a trustee by the name of, I believe her name is Kiana Belcher, who has noticed something going on in the migrant crisis in Dolton, Illinois. And so this is the warning that she's saying.
As everyone knows and has seen what's going on with migrants coming to different communities and kind of like taking over in so many words. Right now, I just feel that the village of Dolton, we don't have the resources for the migrants. We don't have the locations, and we definitely don't have the public safety as reference to police to man type of individuals that may come in, not to stereotype anyone, but individuals that may come in and we can't control the narrative or the situation. With the unscheduled buses, as other South suburban communities have done, they were giving the buses fines
if they were dropping them off or making them leave. Now, I don't know, and I guess that's why it's for discussion, because we would have to look into how are they fined, what the fine is, and if a bus does come to drop off, do a drop off, how do we regulate them leaving with just by our ordinances. So it has been it's through a lot of different communities. We just don't have the resources. I know a lot of people, they need homes, they need shelter, they need things that some of us need also. Yeah. But we don't have the resources as a community right now, especially with our financial situation also. They'll put that burden on the community. So if we can just start implementing some type of regulations to stop the buses, then we can start putting in place so we don't have more squatters than we already have in those type of issues.
Oh yeah, guys, you heard that right. The city is low on resources. Add that up with the migrant crisis happening in the city. And what do you get? Give me like a big explosion effect. Boom! Problems everywhere. You see, here's what's been going on in other cities. And we're not trying to say that all migrants are in crime. We know that that cannot be the case, right? A lot of people come and they want to work and they're gonna abide by the law. But in certain cities, you do have migrants who are doing things like this.
New at 5, a pair of Venezuelan migrants has been charged with stealing almost $3,000 in merchandise from the Oak Brook Mall. Police arrested Luis Mendez Gomez and Frank Montes Davila. They were arrested yesterday and now charged with felony burglary and retail theft. Mendez Gomez was also cited for driving without a license. Police say the men went into Oak Brook Macy's with 2 bags and started filling them with items. Officers took them into custody not long after. The bags allegedly contained 16 high-end fragrances and a pair of pants. This is the second time in a little more than a week that migrants have been charged with stealing from the Oak Brook Macy's.
And other migrants doing things like this.
Well, let me tell you more about that bust. The fake ID ring was busted just 5 days ago. The crooks were selling these phony IDs for $150 each. It was all uncovered inside of a little village home. And once investigators were inside, they also uncovered $7,200 in cash and what they believed to be meth.
Now let's rewind. Let's go back to Dolton, Illinois. And let's go back to that Chicago suburb, if you will. You see, when you don't have resources and when your mayor and the staff of that town is taking and depleting the funds that would go to things like public works or electricities and things like that, well, what happens? You don't have the money to fund the police. If the police cars get repossessed, well, then crime can go up, and it won't just be the migrants. Obviously, it will be everybody else because they'll be participating in it. You won't have the money funding the police to be an asset into the community. In other words, if you do have some migrants that want to get into crime, well, then they'll be emboldened to do so. Because why? You just can't stop it. This is what I'm seeing from Black Democratic leadership. They don't even really give a damn. Like, look at Fani Willis. Fani Willis right now is the district attorney over in Fulton County. Now, I'm not gonna get into what she's doing, but obviously, for a lot of people, what she was doing with Attorney Nathan Wade was inappropriate. And again, that being inappropriate came with no level of accountability. That's why you can hear Fani Willis, when asked about what's going on with her, she can respond like this.
You're getting records. You've been intrusive into people's personal lives. You're confused. You think I'm on trial. These people are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020. I'm not on trial, no matter how hard you try to put me on trial.
And that is what is happening in Black America right now. Black elected politicians, many times, I'm not saying this is all the time, but when it comes back to coming back towards your constituency, they are not being loyal. This is what Brandon Johnson's getting accused of. This is what LaToya Cantrell in New Orleans is getting accused of. This is what Fani Willis is getting accused of. You're doing whatever you want to do, and because these cities are not organized, now we have threats, possibly, for migrant crisis. We have migrants coming in to Dolton, Illinois, taking the resources from people in the city that need those resources, that are 90% African American, And now they cannot get those resources because guess what? The mayor stole all the goddamn money. And then you want to know what? Whenever you have corrupt politicians, you always have somebody supporting them, like this guy.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. This is my first time here. I wish everyone the best in remedying whatever challenges everyone has. I came here today, Mayor Henyard, to congratulate you on being in this seat. And to wish you the best moving forward and growing the town, growing your administration, working through challenges. That's my daughter right there. She's a straight A student, and I wanted her to see a young Black woman who is leading, who is in a position of leadership, display of the possibilities. I'm not knowledgeable on all of everyone's issues, the details of them. Seems like, from the outside looking in, just politics. But the stuff I hear about, I see a lot of arguing. That's one of the reasons I came, because I love a good argument. But when public meetings devolve into just arguing, I would encourage all the leaders here to be more savvy than sometimes just arguing. That's what I've seen. But I came, and I met Miss Brown. You guys are amazing. Thank you for saying hello to my daughter. But I was hoping my daughter could get a picture with you. I wanted to see, a leader. I was looking today on former Mayor Rogers of Dalton. He's got pictures online with some steak dinners, with some elected officials. I was just looking it up because these are the things that I see and I hear. But, we got the mayor here, meeting with the president of the United States. Everyone's seen the picture. That's a big deal. That is great promotion for this city, for this town. And I might just say, the end, I would, say just like, and people may not like everything, but I haven't heard positive things or credit. Like, wow, you met with the president of all the mayors in all these towns. You're able to meet with the president. How can we utilize this for our village? Congratulations on that. And still, we got to work out and hash out issues. Okay. But when it's all negative and it's all arguing, I don't think that approach will ever really work. But again, that's from the outside looking in. I just wanted to come and, say blessings to everyone. Thank you. I'm hoping my daughter might be able to get a picture with you. Thank you.
And see, it's okay to support the Black. It's okay to support Black people when we're doing the right thing. But the problem is when we're supporting Blacks when they're doing the wrong things. And the thing is this, these migrants that are going to come into Dalton, they're not going to look at the Black people. They're like, oh, we need to work with them. Oh, these are our friends and family. Look, man, they don't know you. They don't owe you anything. Hey, look, if you don't got your act together and they got a position where they can come in and do what they got to do to compete with you, they're going to do it. Remember, I covered a story here on this channel. There was an African-American Boston man. He was homeless. He was trying to get into a homeless shelter, but they said that it was for migrants only. He couldn't even get in, and he was working and paying taxes. Now, what about these people that live in Dalton? They're working and they're paying taxes. The migrants are not working and paying taxes. They're taking away from the resources in their city, and then whatever resources they would have, the mayor stole the money. Hello? You guys don't see anything wrong with this? She's basically helping the migrants get on. You're helping them get on because of what? Your lack of execution of public policy and corruption. And again, this is another way that Black cities allow others to help them by being corrupt in the government. You're overtaken by other people because the federal government will start dictating with their funds how your city should work. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, Shay Duke Jackson. Back at it again with another episode of Ken Guy. Now, ready for all you do? Subscribe with the bell. We're out.